So keyword matching, so that's making sure the keywords match across. Frequency of the keyword, yes. Location, freshness of content. When was the last time, and Google does this through their Google bots, is that they check through your site to see when the last time was that particular keyword that this particular customer typed in, when was that last updated? When was that something relevant to that keyword done? So the more recent it is, well, you're more likely to be up to date with what's happening in the industry. So that's the purpose of it all. It's all driven for the customer. The opportunity. 81% of internet consumers use search engines to find a product or a service, but only 7% of websites are visible. There's a real disparity there between the two. Why? Well, because people are slow to take up. The consumers are on board, but the businesses aren't yet, and they're getting there. But what that says is there's a great opportunity to actually be able to take the lead in many areas of the industry to get the edge on your competitors. In 10 years' time from now, the opportunity will have been lost, and you will have missed the boat. Even less than that. So, how do you get onto page 1 for Google? Because that's obviously the most important place to be. So this is a typical typical Google page. You've got this section here is all of your natural search results, which is what we're focusing on here. But keywords are also relevant for your paid searches as well. Okay, so although this topic is about search engine optimization, it's actually all about keywords, and keywords are relevant for both paid advertising and natural. So you really need to be looking at doing both for your business, because they actually work hand in hand, because paid traffic, so paid search engine results drive traffic, and they drive traffic for keywords, and keywords are what drives this. So they do work hand in hand. So they did some studies, and roughly 35% of people will click on the first position in a Google search result. Roughly 15% will click on second, 7% click on third, and then as you go down, the numbers drop off dramatically. It gets down to about 3% for the first page. Okay, once you get to the last position, which is I think 10th. So roughly 60% of searchers will click on the top 3 search results for Google. That's a lot of traffic. So if you've got if there's a particular keyword that's generating 100,000 or 200,000 searches a month, there's a lot of potential traffic that you could be generating to your business. So 35,000 on 100,000, 35,000 would click roughly on that first result. So that's how important it is. This here is a heat map. The heat map here, basically, they want to put some glasses on people, and they track their eye movements, which is what the heat map part is for, and then the little crosses are where the people clicked. And you can see here that the top left-hand corner, that's this area here. These are ads, okay? So don't worry about that in terms of what's happening here, but the people here, the hottest spot is in the top left-hand corner. Position 1, position 2, position 3. Okay. The reason why being on page 1 is so important is because 110% more visits happen on page 1 than if you were the top result on page 2. I don't know if you've ever gone on Google, and I don't know how often you've ever clicked over to the second page, but very, very rarely. If you have to, then either Google hasn't done a very good job, or there's no one that's relevant really for that keyword. Very unusual for anyone to go to the second page. So now you've got one page, and you've got one position for position 1, one position for position 2, one position for position 3, and so on. You now have a problem that only one person or one business can be in that spot for that keyword. You can't have more than one in there. So now you've got a situation of competition, and that's what now starts to drive people wanting to be competitive for keywords. Okay, so what makes up search engine optimization? You've got both on-page and off-page. On-page optimization is everything that happens on your website. And Google wants to see that that your website is obviously relevant once people land there. So making sure that you have the right keywords, identifying the optimum keywords. Okay, so we know that your business may sell a certain product, but is that particular keyword going to be something that you can compete with? So for instance, home loans. There's no point in having your business, your keyword as home loan, and having your website designed around trying to be optimized for home loan, because you're never going to compete with the bank. So although you and I, or you as a business owner may say, hey, yeah, look, but we do home loans, therefore we're going to make our heading and our URL and all the rest of it, with home loan in it. It's not going to, if you were going to optimize it correctly, that's not the way to do it. It would be doing specialized home loans, for instance, or personal home loans or whatever. So you have to do keyword research to identify the relationship between the supply, meaning the number of websites out there that are competing for that keyword, and the demand being the number of people searching for that keyword. And that's a process that we do for our clients to help them to identify it. Keywords and title pages, a sitemap, keyword focus pages. So if you do specialised home loans as the keyword, then the page you have one page on your website which is dedicated to specialised home loans, and the heading says specialised home loans, and throughout the text you talk about specialised home loans. Google's going to obviously look at that and go, well, these guys are very, very relevant for the word specialised home loan. Okay, keyword density, the number of times, this is how analytical they get about the keywords. Alt tags for images. So if you've got images on your website, that image has an address, a web address, a name, and the important thing is that all images should have let's say that image is someone talking about a home loan, for instance. The tag should say something along the lines to do with home loans. Meta tag keywords, not all that relevant so much anymore, mainly because people were hacking that, and Google had that as something that was heavily weighted, and because people recognised that, they were sticking in a million keyword tags into their meta tags, and the problem was that they weren't. The result was that the client wasn't getting taken to the right site. It was because the people were manipulating it. Okay, fresh quality content, that appears again.